Hello. Welcome to the new year. It is 2025, January 2nd. And this is it. We're in the thick of things. I wanted to kind of get on here today and just talk about change and like the actuality of change. Like everybody, here's the cliche, new year, new me, right? But like, what does it really mean when you define that? Like, what does it really mean to be like new year, new me? And like, do people actually like follow through with it? I think we get into like, what's your New Year's resolution? Like, what's this thing that you're going to change, like this and that, right? And maybe for like the first few days to like weeks, maybe the first month of the year, we're like, okay, like we make a little bit of that progress or make efforts towards that. But then as the year sort of progresses, like we lose track of, that change, and we just kind of forget about it. It's like, whatever. Okay. I'm just kind of rolling with the punches now. Like it's just another year. Here we go. Like 2026 is my year. You know what I mean? Like already backlogging it and be like, okay, next time it's going to be better. Next time. And I think that's something 2024 taught me very well, was that like, man, there is no next time, man. It's like, it's this time. It's like, let's do it this time. I realized I did a lot of backlogging, and pushed the hard work off, even though I was still doing my fair share of things, like in terms of understanding, myself, understanding other people, and just like grinding, it's like, I still feel like I backlogged the main things that I should have been focusing on, right? Like the hardest things to address, right? And I feel like that's in our biology. Like it's in human nature to just like be afraid of the things that are so tough and super hard to like address and super hard to face, right? It's so much easier to run away and be like, like I'll do this shit later, right? Like I'll focus about this later. Like let me have fun now, or let me just like let me do what I'm doing right now in this current moment. Like that stuff, like there's gonna be another time for that. There's a time and a place, right? And a lot of people, they have vices that kind of help them take their mind off of those things that are hard to address, or they just blatantly are lazy and just get distracted with either their phone or playing video games. It's something. There's so many things, man. You can go down a rabbit hole for all the things you can do to distract your mind. But my point being is that backlogging never gets you anywhere, man. Like pushing all the hard work and stuff it's just like, it's pointless, because we all know, right? Life happens and shit, and you're gonna get thrown like a lot of curveballs here and there and stuff. But if you're backlogging all that hard shit and then you throw on the weight of brand new things that happen in your life, like you're essentially just creating more tension and anxiety for your future self. And it's like, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to make things harder for your future self? Wouldn't you want to make things easier for your future self? Don't you want things to be like easier? Right? It's like the same like thing, like when I was in school, right? For me, it was like, damn, like I don't want to do my homework, man. I want to play Madden, bro. Like let me play Madden a little bit. Like I don't feel like doing my homework. Like I'll do the homework later, right? And every time I didn't do my homework, I went to school the next day and I was like in class, like writing down, like I was copying off like answers like from my friend, like shit right before we turned in the homework, right? And sometimes I just wouldn't be able to do it in time, so I just wouldn't get my homework turned in. And like the bigger picture, or like the grand scheme of things, like my grade ended up, taking a tank for that, because I backlogged the things that were important at that moment in time, which was doing my homework. And, I think that, man, like we just do this like so much with our lives, dude. And I've kind of reached a point where I'm just like, I'm kind of tired of like pushing off the hard work, like I want to address the hard work now so that I can like be like relaxed later, like the older that I get and stuff, life gets harder, but it gets easier too, and I want to be at a point too, like where when I have my own family one day, that I'm right up here, you know what I mean? Like I'm right up here. I got my financials like set. I have all my priorities. Like I'm good with God, like all these things. Like I want to do as best as I possibly can for the time that I bring a child into this world. You know what I mean? And I feel like addressing the hard work, like now there's not a better opportunity, right? And if you're somebody that's watching this and you got no kids, you got nothing but free time on your hands, if you're still a kid in school, man, like there's not a better time for you to like focus on the things that you need to get done now, man. And it's a grind, you know, it's an everyday effort, you know, whether that be addressing traumas in your life, whether that be addressing your mental health, you know, whether that means getting right with your weight, like if you want to lose weight, you know, like actually focusing and grinding on these things and understanding that it's going to be a day by day process. You know, like these things take time. You can't just snap your fingers and then like you're exactly where you want to be. You know what I mean? If it was like that, like that would be awesome. But then at the same time, would it be worth it? Because I mean, what would be the point in putting in like there's no point in putting in the work if you could just get it like this. And then if everybody can just snap their finger and get exactly what they wanted instantly, then, you know, there's no reward in whatever that thing may be, you know, like if I snap my fingers, like to have like a 6-pack, right? Like if everybody could just do that and stuff, like would having a 6-pack even be like worth it anymore? Because everybody can have one. Like who really gives a fuck about having a 6-pack anymore, right? Like because everybody can just snap their fingers and get one. So I guess I'm going off a little bit on a tangent here, but backlogging, man, it's never going to get you anywhere. And I want to make it a point too. I want to tie in consistency and how big consistency is, right? Like I feel like we dig ourselves in like the biggest fucking holes, right? Like we dig ourselves in these holes of just constant bad vices, of just constant like just rabbit holes of things that aren't bettering like our lives and stuff. You know, we get into a point where like we're either like for some people it's drinking all the time, some people it's going out all the time, some people it's playing video games all the time, right? Some people it's just like eating junk food all the time. You know, some people it's spending too much time on their phone, you know? And then you get to a point where these things like they're not helping you. You know what I mean? Like all those things don't help you. And then you kind of spiral and then you add in, oh my God, imagine you're doing like all those things simultaneously, you know, within the week. Like imagine how you're going to feel in time. You're going to be like overweight. You're going to be, you know, just like mentally, just like you can't even focus here because your mind is so in so many other different places from being on your phone all day. You know what I mean? Like you're dehydrated, like just all these things like come into play and then you feel like shit. And then you wonder like, dang, like, man, why do I feel like this? Like, man, why do I feel like shit? You know, I'm doing all these things. Like, why do I feel like shit? And then you look for somebody to blame. And this is where like victim mentality comes into play. Then it's like, you know, it's my parents' fault, or it's my siblings' fault, or it's my friend's fault, or it's the system's fault. Like all this and that, blame, instead of taking the finger and pointing it directly back at yourself and taking accountability. And it's easier like to do that, you know what I mean? Like, and I am somebody who's done that too. I do it from time to time still, you know, I'm not perfect. And you know, it's understanding that you need discipline in order to build up a consistent routine, right? Because all these things, these negative things that kind of steer you clear from, you know, putting your mind in the right place and putting your body in the right place, like, it takes discipline. You know what I mean? It's hard not to scroll on your phone. It's fucking hard. Social media is an addiction, dog. Being on your phone in general is just an addiction. Like it's just hard not to be on your phone, you know, like, and that's the way that like we've been programmed to like just live our lives now. Like this is just the era we're in where it's just like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, just like constant like overconsumption in the brain. Like there's never any time to just let your brain mediate, you know what I mean? Even watching videos like this, like if you're watching these back to back over and over and over again, yeah, you're gonna have that motivation for that time. But then it's like, what happens when the motivation goes away? Are you gonna keep coming back to these videos to keep finding that motivation? Like, are you ever gonna really find the motivation or the discipline to actually say and do the things that you're gonna do? Or are you just gonna keep running back to a self-improvement video to motivate you for a split second of time, help you do something for like an hour maybe, and then what? You know, it's like it's discipline. Like you really need discipline in order to build that consistency. And this all like overall like just ties in to the idea of not backlogging, you know, because if you can build a consistent routine, right? If you can go to bed at a reasonable time, it doesn't even have to be at a specific time. You can just get the amount of hours that you need, right? Some people can function on 5 hours of sleep. Some people can function on 4, some people 3, some people 8, you know, it's like, find what works best for you and build up some days, man. Like call it day 1, like day 1 here, boom, I'm doing this. I'm going to wake up at 8 o'clock every day and I'm going to do all these things that I said I was going to do within the day, or try to get to them at least. And then the next day, boom, okay, do the same thing again, and then start racking it up. It's a snowball effect. It's like the same way that doing all those negative things builds up, you know, like a negative outcome. Doing all these positive things builds up a positive outcome. And it's hard to see, right? Because clearly, you know, the road to heaven, you know, looks like hell. So it's easier to just like look down the road to hell and be like, damn, that looks sick. It looks like heaven, you know, and you get kind of mixed up in the two. But you just got to build that consistency within yourself, because if you're not at a place where you trust yourself, then, you know, how can you trust anybody at that point? You can't even trust yourself. You can't even trust yourself to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can't even trust yourself not to see that bag of cookies over there and not eat it. You can't even trust yourself not to scroll on your phone mindlessly for a few hours. Like, you can't even trust yourself to just get up and walk outside, you know, touch grass. Like, you can't even trust yourself to do these things. So how can you even trust other people, you know? And then you get to a point where you're just bitter. And then, like I said before, just playing the blame game. It's everybody else's fault but mine, you know? And then you're just, you create a bubble for yourself of negativity and just pessimism. And it's just so hard to just see the light at the end of the tunnel. But I can tell you, for starters, that as somebody who has played the blame game so much over and over and over again, man, you're giving power, bruh, to people and to things that don't deserve it, right? If you just point the finger back at yourself, you take accountability, man, you give all yourself the power to make that correct change. And with this start to the new year, man, it's 2025, bruh. Point the finger back at yourself and be like, look, the life that I want, everything that I want to do with my life, it's completely in my control. It don't matter what fucking cards you're dealt. It don't matter what shit you're going on through right now, right? Like, you can look at it from like a worldly perspective, bro. There's people like getting up at like 7 a.m. just to hike down like a 2-mile like hill to get water for their village, you know what I mean? To bring it back for their family, right? If they can do that, like, you can't get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and, you know, just sit up on the edge of your bed and fold the blankets on your bed, like make your bed. You can't drink water. You can't stay off your phone for a few hours. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all perspective. And if you want to have a great 2025, man, you got to take accountability. And it doesn't get much simpler than that. Like, point that finger back at yourself, man, and take charge. If you say you're going to do these things, do them. And I promise you, bro, in time, everything will materialize in front of you, bro. It just takes time, bro. Some people it takes longer than others, but that's okay, because everybody's journey and everybody's path is different. You can't fucking compare yourself to somebody who's already where you want to be, because it's like, bro, you don't know what the fuck they went through. You know what I mean? It's like looking at, like, comparing yourself to a celebrity, comparing yourself to like your favorite YouTuber. It's like you see them already, like, where like they're at the top already, right? And you don't see all the things that they did behind closed doors, right? You don't see all the hours this musician put into, you know, creating their music. You don't see all the hours that they put in into fucking up their music and like retrying and writing songs and doing all this. You didn't like take into account like this YouTuber that you look up to and all the hours that they put in editing, you know, thumbnails, like script writing, like just creating. Like, you don't think of all that time that they put in to get to where they're at, man. And, you know, you just see them at their like highest level of happiness, also from a level that is portrayed through social media, because you still don't see what the fuck goes on behind closed doors. So yeah, I mean, people who have money, especially, and like a higher following, are gonna just like naturally look more happier online, because at least they got money, you know. It's like, life could be worse, but at least I got money, like, type shit, you know what I mean? But you still don't see what goes on behind closed doors. You don't see what goes on in their head. You don't know the weight of the world, like, that is probably put on their shoulders, you know? So there's levels to this stuff, man. But I think the biggest key of 2025, man, is putting your money where your mouth is, bro. Like, fucking do the things you say you're going to do. Stop bullshitting yourself. Like, cause you're, at the end of the day, you're you're displeasing yourself. You're setting your future self up for failure. And why would you want to do that? Why would you want to fuck yourself over in the future, man? Wouldn't you rather do the hard work now and show, you know, everybody around you that it's possible? You know what I mean? Like, you can lead by example, bro. Like, you don't have to tell nobody to do jack shit, but you can lead yourself by, even if it's you just going to the gym, just be like, I'm going to lose 20 fucking pounds within the month, and you do it. Like, you don't think that there's going to be at least one person in your life that's going to be like, damn, like, they actually said they're going to do that shit and they did it. You know what I mean? Like, commitment, man. Discipline, you know? Do it, bro. Like, it's not a better time to do it than now, bro. I mean, we live in a time where there's just so much distraction. There's so much going on in the world, bro, that, like, there's so much more for, like, your plate, bro. You can add so much shit onto your, like, plate for the better. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more for you to eat because everybody else is so fucking locked in on other bullshit, bro. People are locked in on the wrong things, you know? So take this time to fucking break free from this matrix that this world has, like, tried to force down your throat, man. Like, break free from that shit. Take time to yourself, man. Take time away from your phone, bro. Go on a walk, bro. Like, genuinely go in nature and just do nothing. Just, like, be there, you know? Like, go on a drive, meditate, you know, read, play an instrument, bro. There's so much shit you can do. You can exchange all those negative activities that you do, right, for positive activities. And I won't even say like negative or positive because for everybody it's different. Everybody's different. But in terms of, you know, things that you know probably aren't going to better you, like, is you scrolling on your phone for a few, like, is you scrolling on TikTok or like Instagram Reels or watching just like a bunch of like YouTube videos that, let's say, just like for entertainment purposes, like, is that really helping you? Is it really helping you, or is it just like a quick dopamine hit, you know? Like, start looking at the things in your life that line up with you, you know, the best. Start looking at it from that perspective and just go from there, man. But it's a new year, bro. We can do this shit, man. I'm on this journey of fucking just putting my foot down and just doing the things that I have sought out to do, you know, this entire time. And how am I going to lead anybody if I can't lead myself? You know what I mean? So I'm in it, man. And just know that, you know, if you're hearing this, you're not alone, bro. Like, all the anxieties and everything that you feel about wanting that change, bro. Like, I have it too, bro. I fucking have it too. And it's hard sometimes, man. It's really fucking hard, bro. But, you know, you just got to have faith, man. You just got to have faith that everything's going to be okay. And, you know, I give all that to God, man, personally. I give it to God, and I put the work in. And, you know, everything after that, you know, 100% of the time for me, like, lines up exactly, you know, where I thought it would go. You know, but that's a story for another time. I'll get into that tangent another day. But look, it's 2025. Let's do this shit, bro. No more bullshitting. Let's get to work. Let's be disciplined, and let's just say the things, and no, let's do the things that we said we're going to do. All right. I love you, bro. God loves you. You have an amazing fucking year, bro. An amazing year, bro. It'll be a great year, bro, but you got to actually put the work in to make it a great year. Stay gooeyes.